Have you had your supper yet? Well, many of us, Friday tends to mean fish and chips for supper. Well, after years of being on a protected list because of overfishing, the good news is cod could be back on the menu. What's going on? Well, with me is Samuel Stone. He's a fisheries officer at the Marine Conservation Society. Good evening to you, and thank you for giving up your fish and chips for tonight to be with us. Let's just take a closer look at this, because good news for the North Sea cod today, as it's hauled itself off what's been called the red list of fish to avoid eating. However, having said that, the Marine Conservation Society assesses seafood on a traffic light system, and that's on a 1 to 5 rating, where 1 is the most sustainable, and they've raised the fishery to an amber rating. That's a level 4 recommendation, meaning that we can eat it, but only very occasionally indeed. So let's just take a look at exactly what's been going on here. Lots of charts, lots of things to look at here. North Sea cod numbers collapsed in the 1980s because of overfishing, as you can see there, and the warming of the North Sea. But new EU rules from 2004 have helped our numbers recover somewhat, although these are quite technical charts, aren't they? So just tell us exactly what's going on and explain some of these acronyms for us.
Sure thing. So, yeah, you can see clearly in the 80s that the catches of North Sea cod really did decrease significantly, and that extended right up until 2006. We can see that the spawning stock biomass, so this is the adult population, was at a very high level, over 270,000 tonnes in fact, and that, whilst the catches were extremely high,
seems to have gone extinct on us, but let's get them back up for us. Just explain to us exactly what we're looking at here, because it's going back up towards that line, isn't it? Which is a good thing.
Exactly. So they declined all the way until 2006 when they hit rock bottom essentially, but the EU measures that you mentioned, they really started to take effect, and since 2006 we've seen a steady increase, and just this year was the first year. So you can see this yellow line down the bottom here. This is what scientists call the biomass limit, and below this, the population is really in a dangerous place. And you'll see the red line. Above that, that's the precautionary level. We really need the population to be above that line. Once we get above that, it's in a healthy or much healthier state.
Let's just take a little more detailed look at this, because a few more numbers here to look at. North Sea cod, as we're hearing there, not out of hot water just as yet. This shows the degree of overfishing, and this shows us that action does still need to be taken, really. Absolutely.
So this chart, so FMSY, this yellow line, this is the maximum sustainable yield, and this is the proportion of the population that we can take out every year, whilst not depleting the population in the long term. So that's really the maximum we should be taking out, and you can see for a very long time we've been taking out way too much.
Hence why we've got legislation coming in to
Exactly. So yeah, we've had some really tough measures and they're slowly taking effect.
So, while the North Sea has been under question, where have we been getting our cod from? Well, the UK is imported from a lot of different places. 116,000 tonnes of cod last year in total, the highest imports for any fish. We do seem to like our cod. More than a quarter of that came from Iceland. Second, China. Interesting.
It is interesting. Most people wouldn't think we're getting our cod from China. It's a long way away. So, in fact, a lot of cod is caught in the northeast Atlantic, and we actually ship it off to China. It gets processed and then sent back to us in various forms. And by the time we get it in that form, it's very hard to tell exactly what fishery it was caught in. So this is a bit of a risk for traceability and for authenticity.
Indeed, and worth a final mention, the fact that we do have other fisheries as well, which we have to keep a close eye on, that remain red listed. But tentatively good news. It's good to have you with us. Thanks for joining us here in Sky News tonight.
Thanks for having me.